Alright, well, welcome back everyone. This is the second part of my final refuting, toppling, decimating of a few stray points in September clues, because the first part went on way too long, and I'm stuck doing a second part, which I do not mind at all. So, I'm not going to waste any time, let's just get right into it. Back at 32:19 here. It's not going to take me nearly as long as yesterday, hopefully. So, either way, here we go. The 17 seconds safeguard buffer. This has been refuted long ago. It was not popularized until recently in Chris's film. I'm sure we've all heard about the John Stay Home footage, the Vince Sabio footage, and there's other things as well, Devin Clark, where we have evidence that at least in New York there was not a 17-second delay between the real event and its airing time on TV. Okay. I've shown the John Stay Home video before. The Vince Sabio one I haven't, and maybe I'll just show that now. One sec, I just gotta copy the link here. Whoops.
You really hear a lot of sirens going in.
I'm sure you do. And again, your estimation, what type of plane did
either an Airbus A320 style or a Boeing 737.
Your knowledge from? How much time do you have in a plane?
It was another.
Oh no, okay.
Explosion.
An explosion, multiple explosions.
So you can see there's another example of, well, this is just another time where we have a home recording of someone that had the TV going in the background, and what's being played on TV is pretty much real time. It's not delayed by 17 seconds or even by 5 seconds. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say for that. Again, see Devin Clark's footage. That one is probably the most popular. And then, of course, John Stay Home. Oops, sorry about that. I like to try to keep this muted. So, he talks about these audio beeps.
Kind of an effort up there, yeah. Now remember, on this area, what you can see now. What we're saying, it appears that there is.
Okay, so there's this thing. He goes into detail and shows like 5 or 6 different beeps, or maybe not quite that many. I don't remember. It doesn't matter, but it seems like it might be a valid point if he would not forge the audio in literally every single one of them, except for, I think, this ABC one with Don Daler. I think that is the only one that actually has the beep. And
enveloping the very top of the building.
This one,
and
where it says he has the 17 counting down,
this area,
when it gets to the end of it,
does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up.
Come on, that's 15 seconds. There's still 2, 1, and then, yeah, but really? Come on. Anyone can see that. I'm on the wrong note page there. So, I'll just show this. So I went through, this is something I did a long time ago, last edit, January 13th, 2018, that was when I did that video call with Chris. Actually, no, I think I uploaded it here for him so I could send it to him or something. I don't know. Who cares? But I went through and actually found the original live TV coverage clips. There's WNYW, the beep, or the ha-ha thing. It's not in that one. I have 2 links there. CBS, that's forged as well. I don't want to take the time to actually go out to those links and show it, but I'll copy these, if I remember to, into the description or a comment, or maybe just on my supplementary blog site. blog page, just so you can see for yourself that the audio was forged. I have the time, excuse me, I have the timestamps there, etc. So this is just an example of, it's just outright lies. If he needs to forge the evidence like he did with the Chopper 5 supposed nose out, where it's like, oh, it's going behind, it's hitting the layer mask and then the nose is cut off. No, it's not. Mark very clearly showed many years ago that he edited those frames to make it look like that, which I think we're going to see in just a second here, conveniently. I don't know, it's too fast for me to tell, but, earlier during this portion, that's more about that later. Yeah, anyways, we all know that he's manipulated the footage there to fit his own preconceived theories, which, that should be pretty telling. This one with the NBC.
Elliot, have you, of course, because of the incident that occurred in the early 1990s, the incident that occurred?
I'm not exactly sure what he's thinking. I mean, I've watched September Clues, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times now. I've replayed this part over and over. Can anyone tell me what he's trying to say is happening there? Because I don't hear anything out of the ordinary. I'm sorry. I hope you're all on the same page. I hope it's not just me. But, yeah, so.
The incident that occurred.
There's nothing there that would cause me to be suspicious. And, he syncs them up. They don't actually sync up properly. He changes them. It might be off by a second or two. And actually later, in, the ABC beep is the only one that is actually a legitimate beep. Okay. There's other beeps later as well. I just noted them when I was going through the TV coverage so that I could...
From the south, real low. Out there right now. There's apparently this claim from the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine.
Right. Okay, there's one. That's at 10:10. That has nothing to do with anything, unless he's actually going to say that, it proves some other form of fake or whatever. But you can't use the... If he's saying everything shown on TV was fake, you can't use that as evidence while also simultaneously claiming that it's all fabricated and not admissible as evidence. Nice. There's my watch later there. Okay. Maybe I'll just blur that out. Just because. Whatever. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is the wrong one there. 3 in this one. Sorry about that.
I would say that it wasn't extremely good.
There you have that. That was the same sound as the other one as well. But, I never see Simon talk about this.
If there was any sort of, people who weren't able to move quickly, then it literally slowed down or stopped everybody. I was on 36, so it wasn't too terrible. When I got down to, the 15th or 12th floor or so, there was water coming in from the doors, kind of at our feet level. And then it just was a waterfall down continually down all of the stairs.
I do find this testimony quite interesting about water.
Then people started to get a little frantic there.
Dennis, thank you very much.
Okay, sure.
I really appreciate you calling in.
You're very welcome.
Who works, or did work on the 36th floor of the World Trade Center. In this particular tower, which is still standing, there's only one of the trade.
Well, okay. I don't know, it said continually throughout this phone call, so whatever. I was trying to find another one, but I just wasted time, so sorry about that. Yeah. There's nothing suspicious with those beeps. I've said enough on that. You get the point. The only other thing that's weird is the grade 9 Chopper 5, or whatever it was that was said. I don't think anyone's ever been able to resolve that. No one actually knows if that's what he said. Okay, it definitely was faded out. I don't know what to say about it. I don't think anyone does. But Simon tries to take the ambiguity in this statement and use it as an absolute and then go from there. And it's really not that strong of a point anyways. I don't think we should fret too much over it. So, enough on that. Next on to the sky color differing. You know, him saying, oh, it's clear evidence of fakery. Part of it is the fact that he's using crappy pieces, crappy copies of the footage that was actually shown. You know, if you get the raw NIST FOIA versions again, there's going to be much more consistency in sky color. I can just tell you that right off the bat. Just with all of these videos. Which one is it? I think, yeah, Boris Miller. People have slammed this one. I think Simon Shack actually does. But he slams it for the sky not being blue enough. But in here, you can see the sky is blue, clear. I mean, there's nothing suspicious about this. But if you get a copy of a copy of a copy, you know, the sky is not going to be as blue in some versions out there online. I mean, actually, let me just try this right now. Boris Miller. I'm just going to look up this footage and see if I can find. Okay, well, here's a perfect example. Just between these two photos of it right here, you can see the sky's not as blue in this one, and well, whatever. Who cares? Honestly, you get the point. Some of it's going to be due to the camera that is being used. Anyone who has played around with cameras knows if you have different types of cameras set up at different locations, even if they're recording the same thing in the same conditions, there's going to be differences. You're going to have the sky or other things as well appear to be different colors in the different videos that you record. Okay, I've done it before. I don't want to show examples because they're private home videos and I'd rather not broadcast that to the world. But, you know, just go out there and do it yourself sometime. It's really not that difficult. Get a bunch of older cameras and newer ones as well. Just compare them. Okay. This is really what I wanted to get into. This whole thing where he starts slamming Sean Murtaugh, Owen Mugen, Mark Obenhaus, Jay Adlersberg, Mark Bernbach, Eric Sean, Stuart Nurek, Winston Mitchell, Don Daler, Jim Friedel, Dick Oliver, Jane Daranowski, and Elliot Walker. Okay, I was just reading off a list there. Those are all the people that he goes through. I'm not going to play each witness statement individually. Now, where is it that he says, was it right there and I just missed it, about, yeah, this is it. So he claims, I think this is the right part, that, okay, within 4 minutes of the first strike on Tower 1, all 5 TV networks had first-hand eyewitnesses handy on the phone, virtually all of whom were news media professionals. That's not true, okay? By 8:50, there were not 5 people on the phone. I'm relatively certain. I could be wrong. You know what? Let's just go through here. I just want to see, because he goes through all these people. Okay, Sean Murtaugh. Starts at 3:54. I think this one... Are you kidding me? Oh, you know what? I have another link because, haha. Because when I was preparing for this, I knew that something like that might happen. Perfect. Again, everything's just going to be dead links within 5 years. None of this is going to be verifiable anymore. This is just ridiculous. Okay. Now the timestamps aren't going to match up either. Because
crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center. The CNN Center right now is just beginning to work on this story, obviously calling our sources and trying to figure out exactly what happened, but clearly something relatively devastating happening this morning there on the south end of the world.
Something devastating. We are efforting.
Right now we've got Sean Murtaugh. He is a CNN.
okay, so this is 850. Okay. That's the only one that's actually within the first 4 minutes. Let's see, Owen Mugen. Yeah, he always starts these off this way. So, okay, 6:32. Oh, my. Right, this is 8 hours long. So,
out of the building. Joining us right now, one of the producers with Fox Report, Owen Mugen on the scene. Owen, what do you know? What do you see? Where are you?
Yeah, Brian, I'm on the roof of my building, which is about 5 blocks to the south of the World Trade Center. I'm looking right now at the World Trade Center. There's a massive gaping hole on the...
okay, I hope you can hear that well enough. Okay, but 8:53, that's obviously not within the first 4 minutes. You know, CNN didn't start reporting until 8:49, and WNYW was the earliest at 8:48, and only because they were already on the ground, and Flight 11 would have been caught live on camera if it had not been for the stupid commercial break. And that is why we have, the camera was left on the ground during the commercial break, and we do have the footage from that camera. You can look it up. It doesn't actually show anything, but you can hear it really well. And it's chilling to listen to. But that was rather unfortunate. Okay. I should just look it up by Obenhaus. Okay. Yeah. This was the one where things start going awry. When he gets to Mark Obenhaus saying, he tries to imply that like the first 5 witnesses are all within the first few minutes, within the first 4 minutes, which, only Sean Murtaugh was. Mark Obenhaus, this is within, between 9:34 and 9:43. That is obviously not within the first 5 minutes. And I believe what Simon does here, Owen Mugen, Mark Obenhaus.
Like a plane or something coming extremely low, and then we just heard this shattering.
Is on the phone, and he saw the incident. Mark, you hear me?
I do indeed, Peter.
Go ahead.
Well, I was leaving my house to go to work, and I walked down the street to go to the subway. I was at the corner of Franklin and West Broadway, and as I was approaching the subway, a tremendous roar went over my head, and I looked up immediately, and it was a plane, and much lower than I've ever seen a plane in lower.
No, wait a minute. Sorry. Now I'm confused because I'm not entirely certain if... Where did my other... This was it. I want this back over here. Just because... Let's see, Mark Obenhaus. Okay. Let me just go to this and see.
They've got extensive plans about that, which they very often demonstrate.
Smoke and then debris, and suddenly nothing like that. It hit the World Trade Center. Then my eye at West Broadway, and as I was approaching the subway.
Okay, this is what it was.
Leaving my house.
So You can see this is the live coverage from 9:34 to 9:43.
Very often
I'm just gonna let this play for a minute.
Myself and everybody else for a second, because one of our senior producers, Mark Obenhaus, is on the phone, and he saw the incident. Mark, you hear me?
I do indeed, Peter.
Go ahead.
Well, I was leaving my house to go to work, and I walked down the street to go to the subway. I was at the corner of Franklin and West Broadway, and as I was approaching the subway, a tremendous roar went over my head, and I looked up immediately, and it was a plane, and much lower than I've ever seen a plane in Lower Manhattan.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to September clues.
Manhattan, and it was a large plane. I couldn't identify it as anything specific except that it was a commercial.
Do you see what he did here? Simon put this live TV coverage in the background with a timestamp of 9:02, puts Mark Obenhaus's face and voice on top of it, and makes you think, oh, this was at 9:02. It was at 9:34. This is inexcusable. There is no reason that he should be doing this. That is deceptive. Okay? And I completely forgot that he did that until just now when I went through here. So, there you have it, folks. That's the extent of... That's what Simon Shack wants you to believe. These are the tactics he uses. Okay. Jay Adlersberg. Now, he says that this took place at, let's see here, I think 9:05, because that's what I have written down here. Come on. Yeah, 9:05. Now, I'm wondering if he did the same thing with this one, because I'm just suspicious now. And that is not going to work, because that link is dead, as I already discovered. And, well, okay. That would have been 20 minutes after. So, okay, this one actually would have been 9:05. So he didn't lie about this one. But he had to with Mark Obenhaus. Which, that's pretty... I don't know what the right word is for it. Revealing, maybe? That's not quite what I'm going for. I don't know how to spell Burnback, and I don't think anyone does. Okay. So, I maybe shouldn't have closed that tab. Everyone loves Control-Shift-T. Okay. Let's see, this was 33:56. Which, obviously that's not within... Okay. 9:19. Yeah, come on. Really? He's still trying to get you to think these are all within the first 4 minutes. And only 3 of them are describing Flight 11. Okay, Sean Murtaugh was, Owen Mugen was, Mark Obenhaus. Wait. I don't remember, even though I just did it. Okay, Mark Bernbach obviously is describing 175. It's interesting that he says this thing about the blue logo with the circle towards the front. And then, people love to quote or in the past, 2006, people used to quote mine him with, oh, I didn't see any windows on the side, therefore, oh, it must be a military plane. And if you've read that, Popular Mechanics, I don't remember what it's called anymore, but it's supposed to be debunking 9/11 conspiracy theories, and yeah, that he got his name in there. I think they interviewed him, but man, I remember one time I got that from the library and read it just to see, right when I was just starting to look into these things, not realizing how many layers there are of the cover-up, and layers and layers of deception. Okay, yeah, so Jay Adlersberg is describing Flight 175, and actually I believe I do have his location plotted in Google Earth. Wait, maybe I should have just looked at that. Just to give you an idea of how far away he was from the World Trade Center. So he was in this building right here. When he said it disappeared behind a water tower, well, Google Earth would load the buildings. I don't think it's going to show anything, but there definitely could have been some obstruction from another building, and yeah, he's very clearly referring to Flight 175 when you actually listen to the full thing. Okay, I've already spent more time on this than I would like to. I had a note at... Wait. Okay. Sorry. I have something about Jay Adlersberg and Mark Birnbach. Okay. So he starts slamming all these news media professionals. And, you know, like, that would make the most sense. They work for the news media. They know who to call. They're going to be able to actually share their testimony simply because they're part of that station. I mean, it's just common sense. So there's nothing suspicious about news media professionals calling in and sharing their testimony. It's what you'd expect. And, you know, Simon tries to get you to think that just with what he did, what I just showed you, and what he will continue to do with the next 7 witnesses, or how many is that? 7, 8, 9, whatever, who cares? He's going to try to get you to think that every single witness was a news media professional, and that's simply not the case. Okay? Again, I cannot stress this enough. One of the most important things you can do when studying the video evidence from the day is to watch all of the TV coverage for yourself. And you will get a more well-rounded picture of what was going through everyone's minds, at least in terms of the news anchors and everyone in New York City. And eventually, once you start, once you've watched 5 or 6 of them, you can start to get the hang of it. It's like, okay, at some point here, they're going to announce that all flights are being grounded. Okay, now they're going to say, okay, subway lines 1, 2, 3, 9, and R are all closed for, indefinitely. Or whatever. So, yeah, just, again, I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this sorted version as well, if it's going to show up for me. Very few of them, at least my expectations were going into this, were that I was going to find, well, I didn't really have any expectations, but if I had taken Simon Shack's assumptions, my expectations would have been, I guess that's what I'm trying to say, that nearly everyone would have been a news media professional, and that's not true. A lot of people are bystanders. They're just pedestrians. They're just at work in the World Financial Center, and they happen to look out the window at the wrong time. There's a lot of people getting off the PATH train. Actually, that one, when you have people... I've been on caps lock this whole time. Yeah, there's a lot of people that were getting off the PATH train when they heard the explosion from Flight 11. Actually, a lot of people describe it as a sonic boom, especially when they're right here in Battery Park City. Okay, heard a jet whoosh and explosion sounded like a sonic boom. Let's just do a search for sonic. Okay, running in Battery Park City and heard a jet, then a sonic boom. Okay, that one I just said about the sonic boom. Watching TV in Battery Park City and felt sonic boom. Across the street in his office, heard a sonic boom. In the World Financial Center, felt sonic boom, felt like earthquake. Okay? That's 5 different witnesses, all within the same general vicinity, you know, immediately to the west of the World Trade Center on the ground. They all hear sonic booms. Okay, now let's go through the just path train really quick. Now that's at the second tower. I'm not interested in that one at this moment. This was with the first one from path train, saw explosion. The people that got off the path train did not actually see Flight 11, but they did see the immediate aftermath. Okay, got off path train, heard huge explosion, and saw papers flying everywhere. That's not, well, path train. Wait, did I just show that one? Maybe I have it under subway, because I thought there were more. No, that's Mark Obenhaus. And this one came out of Subway at Fulton and Green, which maybe that is, let's just see if I can, Green, no. That is not what I wanted. Fulton Subway Station, there we go. See, you can find this stuff out just by doing a quick Google search. Okay, well this one is over here, so guess it's not the same. But whatever, I've made my point already. Go through here. Most people were not news media professionals, as I've already stated, and I spent enough time on this, so I'm going to move on to one last thing on the witnesses, which is going to take 10 seconds. Once I find the right timestamp. And that is when he scrolls this list of people saying, you know, these are all witnesses and they're all part of the news media. Even just looking at this for the first time, I noticed there was something a little wrong. Some of the names in this list, I was not able to find. Okay, there's Sid Benningfeld or something that was this person. I was not able to find this man in my document. Well, it would be bedding. Yeah, he's not there. There was someone named Rose that he showed. Yeah, right here, CNN producer. There's a Rosa Cardona Rivera in WNYW, but that's not who that's talking about. She was just a bystander or was at home in her apartment or eating at a restaurant or something. I have the name Joel in this list. Did that show up earlier or something? Well, maybe it will in just a second. Okay, but there's 5 people that he shows in this list that are not there. Oh, there's more. Okay. Maybe I should have waited till they showed up. Mike Walter. You know, Mike Walter, seriously, that was... I'm just now taking a look at that. You know what? Joel Schuerman, however you say that, that's probably with the Pentagon as well, since they're USA Today people. You know, maybe there's going to be a Gannett person. Yep, USA Today. USA Today. Jim Friedel, unidentified. Includes him, seriously? Oh my gosh. I'm just face-palming right now. Clearly. Enough on that. I've made my case. Not very cohesively, but you get the point. He goes on to accuse pretty much all of the main videographers out there of fakery or of being a part of the conspiracy somehow, because They simply happen to be photographers or videographers or anything like that. And that's what you would expect. You're not going to expect to have, 5% of the videos filmed by musicians, 5% filmed by plumbers, electricians, lawyers, tourists, carpenters, restaurant managers. You get the point. Do you honestly think that there's going to be an equally likely spread of videos across different occupations? Did that make any sense? Obviously, that is not going to happen with anything, okay? The videographers are going to be the most likely people to own and use their cameras, okay? It's second nature. I kind of understand, in a certain sense, I used to like to film things, whatever. I used cameras a lot years ago, and I enjoyed it. And eventually, if something was happening that I thought might be interesting to record, I thought something could potentially happen that would be wonderful to have recorded. Kind of straining from my words here, as you can tell. But, it becomes second nature just to pull out a camera. I'll just start recording. Especially with something like this, there's not going to be a photographer or videographer that is not going to pull out their camera. Okay? Unless, they think, I don't want this tragedy to be recorded. I think it's disrespectful. If you believe that, that's perfectly fine. I don't hold anything against you. And yeah, he starts going through this, listing the people, and their job. Just come on, really? And by the way, there's a lot of people that we don't know anything about. So, and that's most of them actually. But yeah, I agree. The vast majority of the ones that we do know something about are somehow involved with videography, photography, cinematography, what have you. That would make sense. Okay. What do I have at 5814? Oh, Wolfgang Steele. Right, the whole issue of 475 Kent Avenue and similar shots. It's not just that one with 475 Kent Avenue with Wolfgang Steele and Chris Hopewell and Robert Clark. Yes, they all happen to be in the same building. That makes sense. Go to I think it's 475kentavenue.com. Or wait, 475kent.com, I think. Yeah. Robert Clark is still, last time I checked, which was a while, yeah, he's still listed here as living at 475kentavenue.com. And that's his website. Anyways, that was weird. It just lists all the, that's neat. It lists all the tenants at 475 Kent. I don't think Chris Hopewell's in here anymore. I don't know if he ever was. But, that's there for your perusal if you would like to dig deeper into that. But actually, if you listen to Jeff Hill's phone call with Robert Clark mentions Chris Hopewell in his phone call. At that point, Jeff Hill didn't know what he was talking about because he's still like, oh, do you know anyone named Tina Cart that lives in the building? Because that was, his footage was known for some reason as the Tina Cart footage for a really long time. And the woman screaming, again, Carol Wells, everyone thought her name was Tina Cart for the longest time. I don't know where that came from, but, I think it was because it was originally uploaded on a channel called Tina Cart, and I don't know, it doesn't matter, but yeah, Robert Clark mentions Chris Hopewell, and Jeff Hill didn't pick it up because he didn't know that Tina Cart is actually Chris Hopewell, but they were both on the roof. They were both standing right next to each other, and that's what Robert Clark says. Please go listen to that phone call. It is very enlightening. So, and yeah, The Matrix by 3 different authors. Okay, this happens in a lot of cases, actually. It's not just... Man, Google Earth is being really slow right now. It's not just those 3, okay? Now, that one is kind of a unique case, since we have 3 from the same location, although we don't have Wolfgang Steele's footage of the second plane, which it exists out there somewhere, okay? He himself said that he has the footage of everything that happened on September 11th, from 0 hours to 0 hours. That's his own words. I can't find the article for you. It was in some interview that someone did with him, and he's like, I don't want anyone getting their hands on it. I don't want the news media getting their hands on it. I want it to stay private, okay? I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that was his... that was what he said, and I can respect that. I mean, I kind of wish that he would show the full thing, because it would be very valuable for research purposes. But I also understand, well, okay, I don't understand what it would be like to have recorded something that day. But, I can respect that, and I'm not gonna slam him and say, oh, you're just being selfish. No, if he wants to do that, that's fine. He has the freedom. It's his own footage. Okay. Second most well-known, don't crash on me, please, as, okay, Michael Hezerkani and Carmen Taylor. Sure, we all know about that one. I don't need to talk about that. There are some minor differences. They're 15 to 20 feet apart. Maybe a little more than that. Again, listen to Jeff Hill's phone calls with each of them. It's great. There's 2 with Carmen Taylor, I think. And then, well, there's technically 2 with Michael Hezerkani as well. But, they're like 30 seconds apiece. Man, I don't know what it is. It must be OBS that's causing everything to do this. I know there's more. This would just cooperate with me. You have clusters of some that are kind of close together, like right here. You have 3 of them within the same general vicinity. I don't know if that was something that means anything to anyone. I feel like there was one... No, that was just... Okay. Sorry, I would be able to do this a lot faster if this would cooperate with me. There's one more... this is it. WPIX Air 11 and Marta Fox 5. 2 videos that are filmed from virtually the same vantage point. Here's WPIX Air 11. And I'm going to stop it whenever... Okay, here we go. Right there. Let me just go a few more frames. Okay. And then there's that helicopter flown by that Russian pilot. And what was it? Marta Fox 5. Both of them obviously filmed from choppers. Whoops, it's like 28, come on. There you go. Maybe 5 frames forward of what I wanted. Okay. I tried to get those pretty much at the same moment in time. Come on, cooperate with me. Guess it won't. Come on, there. Oh. Froze up there for a second. So, you can see that, let me just do that. The location is clearly pretty much identical, because the gap between the towers is the same. Everything looks the same in terms of the shape of the fumes relative to the antenna and everything else. The only real difference is this chopper right here. And look up, it's by Eugene Debs. It's called like Marta Fox High 5 or something like that. I'll put it in the card, so look up in this corner right about now if I remember to put it there. If the video has not been taken down, but which it might have, but I think I do have it downloaded because I needed a sound bite from there for another purpose. So I hope I have that somewhere. If not, maybe I'll just upload it unlisted and then put the card there. Who cares? So yeah, you have this here. It's a little farther away from the towers in the Marta one, so we know it's not identical, but they're pretty similar. And what Eugene Debs goes into in his video on this chopper is, he shows the flight path of it, because in the Chopper 5, WNYW Chopper 5 footage, we can see this gets caught by that camera about 10 seconds after the fireball and everything. So he goes into more detail in there. I've already gone on longer. I'm like 48 minutes now or so. So I'm close to being done here. Okay. All shots are correct. Yeah, right. Oh, okay, sorry. I was trying to interpret what I meant by that note, but I just discussed it. So, this is a minor thing. I wanted to point this out. He shows this photo of New York City, of Ground Zero. Now, I'm pretty sure that this is from Google Earth, because I believe, let me just hide all the places and 3D buildings. And I'm going to go back in time here. It's going to zoom into right here. Okay, this time feature is the single most useful tool I found on Google Earth when trying to plot locations, because sometimes I'll be trying to find a building that no longer exists, and I need this to help me out, because conveniently, you can go back to the day of September 11th on Google Earth. Now, actually, wait, maybe this... Okay, maybe that's not the same then. Okay, because I thought this was the same thing as what Google Earth had, so never mind. But I was going to say, if this, what we have here, if that were the same as what Simon Shack had here, that would prove that he knew how to use Google Earth. But I guess not, so, oh well. Still, again, after 10 years of having this thing up there, and then then his channel gets terminated, he should know how to use Google Earth, and he should correct his errors at that point. A few more stray things. He goes into... and he starts complaining about the rotating bridge. There's a video done by Hakeem Spock back in, I don't know, like 2009, 10 years ago at this point. So, Simon has no reason to not know about this. But he's like, oh, the bridge shouldn't be moving like that. Again, Hakeem Spock goes into enough detail that I'm not going to do it here, but the Verrazano-Narrows Bridge is not a natural backdrop of the World Trade Center, okay? Cooperate, Google Earth. Okay, I don't know if the bridge is going to show up here as part of the 3D buildings, but, the new One World Trade Center would be visually slicing through the bridge. Oh, there we go. Thank you. it does not take much movement for that thing to rotate. Okay, the chopper could shift just a little bit, because the chopper was, you know, like way back here. And just a little bit of movement is going to make that thing... Okay, I'm not even really moving that far. I mean, do you want me to go back farther? You know, a quarter of a mile of chopper motion can make this bridge move from one post to the other. So yeah, I'll put his video in the card because he, you know, has all the mathematical information on there. A few more minor things with Chopper 7 and John Del Giorno. Good evening, good morning, actually. You know, I love how he puts those little quotes when the news anchor will just slip up and say something like that, you know, good evening, or good morning, actually. He'll put it there as if it's evidence of fakery. Like, come on. The amount of times that I've stumbled over my words doing these videos, it's not like I'm reading off, well, sometimes I am reading off a script. I'm not reading off a script. This is all I have. Okay. I'm just going off the top of my head. Now, in all fairness, I do have these September clues notes that I compiled. There was a point earlier in the video where I was reading off of that for like 30 seconds, but you know, that's not that important. So he says, you know, oh, John Del Giorno, where are you? He actually, you know, the video footage commonly known as the Chopper 7 footage, I've covered this before, is actually ABC Chopper 880 for WCBS AM radio. I'm just taking that right off of Matt Nelson's site. Okay, this is Chopper 880, not Chopper 7. Chopper 7 filmed this footage. It did not catch 175, unfortunately, which would have been a really good angle. But, oh well. But that's what we have of that one. Oh, this is what Sarah K. Schwiddick, or whatever, and Howard, like, Schickler or something. Those are two other locations that are, like, really similar. Just going back, I remembered what I knew there was another one that I was forgetting. Okay, this is the location of Howard, whatever, Schickler's video. I don't know how to say that. And then, you know, you can see the Sarah K. Schwiddick location pin I've put there. I don't know if I have snapshot. No, I haven't. Okay, but those are two more locations that are right next to each other. Same building, I believe. Howard, yeah, same building, right next to each other. Simon Shack has, well, I don't know if it was Simon Shack. I've seen some controversy about this on the Clues forum. It's not a big deal at all. You can actually find all of her photos. Okay, this is the one that made me actually figure out where it was taken from. There's nothing suspicious about it, okay? There can be multiple people in the same building at the same time, believe it or not, Simon. It's really not that hard to do. Just idiot. Okay. Oh, I wasn't talking about that. Sorry, I know I'm all over the place. I just wanted to get these thoughts out because if I don't get them out now, I'm never going to get another chance to, and I'm just going to completely forget them. So I know this form, it's not the cleanest. I haven't gone through this a ton of times to refine everything. You know, there's times I go off on tangents. I'm sorry. I want to get this information out there before I forget, and while I still have the chance to do so. So, right, I was talking about Chopper 7, though. Right, Chopper 7 filmed the footage I just showed you. And John Del Giorno actually did call in later, I believe. Okay, yeah. he saw the second plane that looked like a 737 hit Tower 2 as he was approaching from the southwest, actually. Okay? And I do have this here. Saw the story from a sister. Helicopter. South to north, which... Not that it was chopper. Okay. Whatever. But that was WABC. And is this one of those like JFK 1963 news video? One of those on that channel? Well, it was. Sorry. So many dead links. Half of the, I just did this last year and now half the links are dead. So, you can find these TV coverages elsewhere, but, the JFK 1963 news channel videos, whatever it was, that was a good channel. Some of them still exist, but all these copyright claims. Oh, due to NBC Universal. Or what was the one that was just there? I'm just wondering. From A&E, who's blocked. Okay. It's always a copyright issue, or it's offensive, and come on. Okay. I have 3 things left here that I have in my notes. One of them is with Jennifer Oberstein when he...
Do you have any idea what kind of plane it was? I'm sorry? Do you have any idea what hit the World Trade Center? What it was? Yeah, what kind of plane? We're getting reports that an airplane hit the building. I didn't even know that, honestly. That might have been.
So, people love to use that for a variety of different reasons. I see that all over the place. But if you actually go to the footage, let's see, it is at 1:55.
The piece is horrible. I can't even describe it.
Do you have any idea what kind of plane it was?
Okay, so there's that part. She didn't know it was a plane. Now you go forward to like right here.
You say that emergency was lost.
After here.
Do you know if there were many?
Whoops, sorry, wrong side of the minute. Listen.
Let's go back to Jennifer Oberstein, who was talking to a second ago. Jennifer, did you see this happen?
Hello?
Did you just see this happen, Jennifer?
Matt, I've never seen any. It looks like a movie. I saw a large plane, like a jet, go immediately headed directly into the World Trade Center. It just flew into it, into the other tower, coming from south to north. I watched the plane fly into the World Trade Center. It was a jet. It was a very large plane. It was going fast. It went past the Ritz-Carlton Hotel that's being built in Battery Park. It flew right past it, almost hit it, and then went in.
This is so...
Okay, you get the point. If you're going to use her as evidence that there was no plane, seriously? I mean, you can hear the panic in her voice, and of course Simon's going to say, oh, she's just acting. Which, Simon, there's some things I'm thinking right now that I shouldn't say. But to attack people because of their emotional reactions, that's pretty pathetic. Okay. You are the person described in 2 Peter 2. Okay. And I know that's not what 2 Peter 2 is about, but I'm just using all the list of all those descriptions of the wicked in there. And I mean, I know in context is talking about false teachers within the Christian church, but maybe I shouldn't apply that here. Whatever, there's a ton of insults in there. I just want to apply those to Simon right now, even though I know he doesn't have anything to do with that. And I've gone on for an hour now. I'm going to finish this up in the next 5 minutes, I promise you. So, yeah, Jennifer Oberstein saw Flight 175. It's hard to tell what she's saying from that because she's so distressed at what she just saw. You know, but she did say it almost hit something in Battery Park. And I'm thinking, you know, obviously she was in Battery Park. Was she on the ferry? You know, because in the original phone call, she was heading to Battery Park. And then Elliot Walker, then, yeah, I'd have to listen to it again. I don't want to do that right now. But I think she might have been on the ferry with Michael Hezerkani and Carmen Taylor. Possibly. Or if not, she was in a place where she could have seen Flight 175 almost hit something. And I think, you know how there's that issue with that Marcus Allen brought up way back in 2013, where he said you have Flight 175's wing going behind this building right here. What if Jennifer Oberstein was either on the ferry or on the ground or somewhere where Flight 175 appeared to go behind this building before crashing, and she thought that it almost hit that building? I mean, that's definitely a possibility. You have to... I think that's what she was talking about. I mean, it's hard to say because she's so exasperated you can't tell what the heck she's saying at that point, but I think that's what that is. And then, of course, he does the thing where he plays a lot of witnesses of small planes, and, you know, he accuses them all of lying when they agree with the large plane story. You know, anyone that says it was a large plane, or if they get emotional about it, he says they're lying. But if it's a small plane, well, then they're not lying. They must have been seeing a missile. Even though I thought everything on TV was fake, but I guess not if it suits your own preconceived conclusions. Brilliant. Just brilliant. But I pointed this out yesterday. I guess that... Okay. I think... Do I have it in the making? Yes. I'll just preview. I went through these yesterday. All the witnesses for each plane. The ones that actually saw it. Okay. Not just the ear witnesses, because that, you know, doesn't really mean anything to us right now. I was going to start making this into a video. These are the people that said they saw a missile. Or that said something about a missile. Gabe Sumner from New York 1. Some people that Dick Oliver said, you know, some people thought they saw a missile. Which, you know, we don't know who that is. Ooh, Bill Stokes refutes it. Fox 19... I have to... BBC refutes it. Don Daler, you know, ABC... Everyone, you know, I could only describe it as it sounding like a missile, not an airplane. He also said a jet sound could be consistent. And I might as well show them. I know I said 5 minutes. It's probably going to be another 10. Sorry. Again, I want to get this information out there while there's still time. Because everyone's going to forget about this stuff very soon. Okay, Don Daler. Let's go back there again. And I'm not requiring anyone to watch this. You can leave if you want to. But I just want to say, I've done what I need to do. You cannot accuse me of ignoring anything. I've dealt with everything there is to deal with.
Families, tourists, through what you can see now. What we're saying, it appears that...
Okay, there's the beep.
How to describe it? It was a high pitch, but it had a whooshing sound, not like a prop plane. Look.
Okay, so when everyone heard plane at first, they did not think 767. Okay, a lot of people thought prop plane.
Which, you know, they prop plane or anything like that.
Okay, that's what is clear from listening to Don Daler. And sorry it took me 2 minutes just to find this section. Maybe I'll take it out.
I don't want to cause any speculation, but that's the only way I could describe the sound. And it was definitely, immediately, lots of screaming out on the streets. And I don't want to...
15 minutes ago, there was a loud sound that I can only describe as it sounded like a missile, not an airplane.
Okay, so he said that, and later...
Part of New York City has quite a
he did say it could be consistent with... You know what? I don't want... I already wasted enough time. But I'll put this in the card right now. Okay, just look up in the corner for the card. And I will put this there. Please watch that. Don Daler says, yeah, actually, if that was a large passenger jet, that would have been consistent with what I heard.
You see actual faces, face someone's and that's look what it actually looks like. Before we crashed, they say that
going in with what you heard?
Absolutely. It could be consistent with what I heard. What I know I did not hear was an airplane, any kind of a prop plane. And I think looking at the damage, I don't think there's any way possible that it would have been a prop plane. It's just too much damage to the building. What's deceptive about the World Trade Center is that it is so huge and so tall that the perspective is difficult to get from the ground. But when you look at these buildings, this whole gigantic
line, if it was, we don't know if it would have been deliberate or...
Okay, anyways, you get the point. Sorry, I wasted like 5 minutes there. Okay, and, you know, just because of that, I don't want to go into detail on, you know, Bill Stokes refuting it on Fox and BBC refute. I'll put the links in the description or comment or blog or something. Maybe I'll just put all the links in my blog and then put a link to the blog page in the description. Maybe I'll do that. So, yeah. One last thing. I already said that other part I was going to say. Yeah, most people did not see a small plane. Most of them saw a large plane. And out of those, I find this interesting. Let's just do a quick search for like 767. Okay, saw a 767 fly down the center of Manhattan. This is from a pilot who would know what a 767 looks like. This is with Flight 11. With Flight 175, we have Kyle Beard. Saw a United 757 or 767. 2 shades of gray with a red stripe in the middle. The wing dipped and crashed. That is 100% consistent. That is the most accurate eyewitness report.
It continues to get worse, and joining us, Kyle Beard, who's an eyewitness, joining us now on the phone. Kyle?
Yes, hi.
What, did you just witness that collapse?
My neighbor and I did, yes, but I saw this second plane. I saw it coming in from the harbor, and it was United, and it looked like it was maybe a 757, a 767, one of the mid-range commuter planes. Mm-hmm. And it came in low. It was just over the river, just over the tops of the buildings, and then it made a deliberate turn right into the World Trade Center. And now we were just looking at my neighbors downstairs that we saw just smoke, this huge amount of smoke when the building collapsed.
Sure, that's what we're seeing now.
And it's been over. I'm in the Carroll Gardens section of Brooklyn, and it's been like snow over here. There's just been pieces of charred paper, whole pieces of paper, shattered pieces of paper, but I did see the second plane. It came in very, very fast from the harbor, and it was going along the East River, and I thought, my God, it's going to brush the Brooklyn Bridge. Mm-hmm. And then it got just at the World Trade Center and turned, just the wing just bent, how do you call that? Dipped,
yeah.
It just dipped and went right into the building.
Horrible.
But it was United, definitely, because it was the 2 shades of gray with a red stripe along the middle.
Okay, so you're saying United Airlines.
Kyle, we appreciate your insight.
Okay, 16 blocks from the World Trade Center. Second one was big and blue and red.
Number 1. Beverly, what did you see exactly?
All right, I saw the second plane. My cat woke me up for the first fire. She was hysterical, so I came to the window to see why, because that's where she was running, and I saw the first fire. And a few minutes later, I don't know exactly, I saw this plane that looked blue and red. My eyesight's not great, so don't
worry. Another eyewitness described the plane as blue and red as well.
And it was big. It was certainly not a toy plane. From this window, it's big. And it went into exactly where the fire is coming out of the second part of the second building of the World Trade Center, the building south of where I live.
Sure.
Okay, Beverly, thank you very much for your insight.
Is Wake Shaw still there? Not yet.
Let's see if we
Mr.
can-
Shaw?
Yes?
Wade Shaw, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Good morning. And what can you tell us? Where were you and what did you see?
I'm standing on the roof of my building in the Lower East Side, and I had rushed up here to see what was on the news, and I couldn't believe it. And suddenly, a very large jumbo, which might have been an Airbus with navy blue and bright red markings, which might have been an American, some sort of American plane, just suddenly came diving into the building, which was just terrifying because you could see it happening, and it just headed right for the building, which seems to be quite a coincidence.
It certainly is.
We do have joining us on the phone Terry Shane, who is an eyewitness to what's happened. Terry, good morning.
Morning to you, mate.
Where are you? What's your location, and what did you see happen?
I'm on Union Square, and I was facing the Twin Towers, having my coffee on the balcony in the morning, and I saw this plane coming over, and I called my girlfriend to say, come and have a look at this plane, it's really flying very low. The next thing you know, I see the plane start deviating, it's sort of, doing like not a victory wave, but, a little bit of a left, a little bit of a right, and then it straightened out, and it just continued going straight onto the building, mate.
Oh. And your reaction, of course, was unbelievable, as is ours.
Well, you know what the crazy thing is? I grabbed my camera and tried to take some pictures of the plane coming in, and the camera did not work. The camera didn't work anymore. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, Philip Russo. From the west, he also saw Flight 11, and 175 looked identical to the first one in color and in form. That's interesting. Okay. Some of the people that reported seeing a small plane also said that the second one was a small plane. Okay, at least they're reporting consistency. Now that I admit there are some people that do report inconsistent explosion sizes and magnitudes or what have you. But you do have a lot of people saying it's a large plane. A lot of people saying, some people, 2 people saying that it was a 767. Etc. There's so much that I could go into here. Actually, if I just do 747, okay, there's a few witnesses of a 747. How about 737? 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 for Flight 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one doesn't count since that's someone just viewing a video. But it's interesting, though, that this guy does view this video and say that it's probably a 737 or something. Okay, 6 people reported that Flight 11 was a 737, and 5 reported that Flight 175 was a 737. 727, yeah, same kind of thing. You get the point. A lot of people reported seeing a large plane, Boeing or Airbus, either one, they weren't entirely sure. But there's a lot of consistency, and there's no way that all these witnesses could have been in on it together. Unless you're going to assume what Simon does and just say, well, everything is entirely fake, no one, whatever he says. It doesn't matter, and I don't care. I've done my part. I've said what I've needed to say. There's not much else I'm going to be releasing on this channel in terms of 9/11 research. I might put other things on this channel in the future. I don't have any plans for it, other than possibly the 3D analysis, because at this point, no one cares anymore. It's 2019. We've gotten out all the information we're ever going to be able to get out. Since Chris's film, there haven't been that many significant developments. I mean, there have been. Mark did discover things with Flight 11 still being in the air, and 175, he has that information on his blog. If Chris comes out with 9/11 Alchemy 2, I'm certain that that's going to get put in there. Again, I'm not saying don't contact me, I'm done, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm still out there, I'm still available. if you want me to talk about this, whatever. But I'm not going to be releasing videos anymore other than the 3D analysis. And even that, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get that out. I don't even know how I don't know what I'm going to do for editing, because that's just going to be so much work. But point is, I'm pretty much done. I know Mark, he's done as well. It's been difficult during the past year, especially seeing how so many disinformationists have resurfaced. We think we've gotten this information out there and we're finally making progress, and then what the heck, Dave Von Kleist shows up again. I mean, seriously? Dave Von Kleist? Now, I haven't seen him since he showed up last year in May, and then, kind of just disappeared again. But there's all these little blips. It's like, hey, just go out there, make sure they know that you're still here. We have the power to destroy you guys whenever we want to. I mean, that's the message I'm getting. There's more things I know about that have happened recently within the past, year and a half, 2 years, that I don't want to say, just out of respect for the people and lest I say too much. So a lot has gone on in terms of censorship. I think I said this in my Flight 93 video. Weird things started happening to me with numbers. I would start seeing 9/11 related numbers everywhere. I'm entirely convinced that there is a lot of spiritual aspects involved with this, no doubt. It is a picture and almost foreshadow of the final judgment of the last day, in a sense. Not entirely, because, well, there's a ton of reasons why, but, from dust you came, to dust you shall return. And that literally happened with the towers, and a lot of people inside them, unfortunately. And yeah, I've said all I've needed to say over the past, year and a half. Thank you to everyone who's supported me. It has been encouraging to know that there are other people out there who still care. I would name you guys if I could remember your channel name. I can't, so sorry, but you know who you are. I interact with you frequently enough in the comment section. It is an honor and a joy to have you guys asking these things and to have you provide feedback and additional insight into anything. It kind of is unfortunate that it's gotten to the point where we can't put out any more information without getting reprimanded and torn apart by disinformationists. Not in the sense that they're refuting us, but just in the sense that they know how to shut us up. It's like a form of blackmail, although not entirely. In fact, there was something that happened in August that almost made me, Mark, and Chris just quit on the spot. I don't want to say what it is, because if I did, it would not be good. But, everything's fine now, but anyways, this is the mad world. Evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. My friends, please, turn to Jesus Christ for forgiveness of sins before it is too late and before he comes back in fiery judgment. The wrath of God is abiding on you, and unless you repent, you shall all likewise perish, and you will not be able to escape the damnation of hell outside of the shed blood of Jesus Christ, unless you trust him for forgiveness of sins, for purification, for appeasing the wrath of God. You have no hope. And on that note, I will end this here after going on for like an hour and 20 minutes. Thank you. It's been an honor and a joy to have been doing this, in a sense. In a sense, it hasn't been, but I'm very grateful for how well all of my research has been received by people like Mark and Chris and Andrew and anyone else from that point forward. So, alright, I am finished.